Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Welcome to my very bare face today. I had some time to film and I have to be somewhere tonight, and I thought, why not film me doing my makeup today and chat to you in the process about anything, everything, whatever. I haven't really thought that out yet. I have not really thought out what I'm gonna do for eyeshadow today, so I have some summery palettes laid out here. I have a slight idea, but it's gonna be a trust the process kind of look. If I don't like it, we can remove it and start over. It's that simple. So I'm not too nervous, and also it's, you know, it's just a friend's barbecue, so it doesn't have to be wowie amazing fancy. Yeah, I have primed my eyes. I've used the Wet n Wild eyeshadow primer, which is just my usual primer that I'm working on and I'm still loving, and I've set it with a translucent powder that I'm working on in my Lord of the Rings project pan, if you have seen that. Yeah, my face is being very sweaty. I've just noticed a breakout on the middle of my nose. I may have made it worse. I hope from this angle and distance you cannot see that. Yeah, it's warm. I've been getting these random flare-ups of just breaking out in a sweat. All of my palettes are off to the side, so if I'm like reaching or looking there, that's why I don't have my desk or table in front of me. Yeah, and I'm using the Honey palette as a mirror because I love the ColourPop palettes for having the big mirrors. Yeah, so if you can see that, that's that. Yeah, so I'm gonna pick up first. I just think I'm gonna do what I've been doing recently, which I really love, a combination of pinks and yellows, which is very summery. So I'm gonna be using my Flor Mar quad in the shade Summer Breeze. I'm gonna be working with the yellow and possibly also with the peachy. So I'm gonna pick that up on a fluffy crease brush. Wow, can I talk today? Yeah, so as I was saying, I'm just having these sort of flare-ups. I'm sorry if I cannot really explain this very good in English, because sometimes I don't really know what the actual terms are for this, but I have just had these random moments where I break out in a sweat. And like, not just a little bit of a sweat where I sit down and I'm like, okay, it's hot. I feel like my armpits are kind of getting hot, a little watery, you know what I mean? But full on outbreaks of my entire body is starting to tingle and break out into a sweat. It's kind of insane. And at first I thought it was because I was just doing so much, because I've been busy and just, you know, running around my house, doing little chores, and I was like, maybe I've just been winding myself up too much. But it's been random moments where I just sit down and suddenly it just hits me and I get just sticky and warm and hot and sweaty all over my body. I'm going in with, sorry if I forget to tell you, the, this color? I can't remember how to call that. Peach, pink, from the, that is the, wow, this is chaos. The Lizzie McGuire palette. And I'm putting that here. So yeah, these random outbreaks of sweating like a crazy person is because last Tuesday, it is a Saturday when I'm filming this, last Tuesday I had gotten an injection into my hip, and it was a combination of painkillers and oof, what is that called? Like antibiotics, or I'm not really sure. It's something to help with the pain, and it's something to work against getting a flare-up of more pain, basically. And the side effects are that you first experience more pain, which is great for like a couple of days or weeks, and you can get random flare-ups of feeling very hot, getting a really bad headache, which luckily I haven't experienced, touch wood. Yeah, so that's I think where they are coming from. Great. And so far, pain-wise, it hasn't really done anything to kill the pain. Like, first hour after getting the shot was great. I had zero pain, and then it came back pretty heavily. So yeah, that sucked. I'm gonna go in with the peach of this palette. So yeah, I think that is what has been happening. I hope it's from that. I hope it's not from something else. And I also hope it goes away quickly, because it's not fun. There's nothing I can do but just endure. Sit there and think, oh gosh, it's hot, I'm sweaty. And it doesn't hurt, but it's not great. It doesn't feel great. You kind of feel gross after, because you just break out in a sweat and it's crazy. I'm also gonna pick up the yellow of my Juvia's Place Zulu palette. Just a little bit. And we're gonna put that here. So now that we're on the topic of getting that shot into my hip, I could just explain why I had to get that. I have a bad hip. My right hip is shit, basically. That's the short version of the story. So about 3 years ago, I was doing a very active, very physical job at a stable. I was teaching there, I was taking care of the horses, you know, all of that. And pretty randomly, out of nowhere, I started to notice pain in my right hip. Or not per se the hip, but like I would feel it in my hip, and then also in my lower back and my leg. So I knew something was going on. I was like, okay, that's weird. I had it while horse riding, which I also did myself. So yeah, I went to go check it out. Had like a therapy for it. They couldn't really figure out why it wasn't getting better, and they were like, you have to go to hospital, get it checked out, because with all of these exercises that we're giving you, it should be less painful. You should be experiencing less pain, and you're not. So go to the hospital, go get it checked out. And sure enough, the doctors did an x-ray and whatever, and realized that my hip, the way it's structured, and this is something that you get born with, so there's really nothing you can do about it. It's just not ideal. So I don't know how to, you know, call this. I don't know the exact terms in English, but you know how your hip is like this is your hip, and then it's into the shape, you know what I mean? And it can move around pretty much all directions. So normally this is kind of like a little bowl, where this would fit into. Mine is just a little more shallow, so they were like, okay, maybe that's causing some, you know, trouble. And I've heard that you cannot have and you cannot experience any discomfort for a very long time, and then suddenly it's enough and you experience discomfort. So we did a bunch of x-rays and whatnot to check out what was going on, and they realized that I had some cartilage that was just ripped. I don't know, it was damaged. So they were like, we're gonna do surgery and we're gonna fix that, and then hopefully you won't experience the pain anymore. So they did that. Fast forward 2 years, we're 2 years in recovery. I'm still experiencing the same amount of pain that I did before I got surgery. I switched jobs. I also need to do my makeup. It's hard to explain this story and be doing my makeup, and also I'm not really sure what to do yet. I think I'm gonna go for a like purple outer corner. Let's just do that. Let's just not overthink. No, I'm actually gonna go in with this pink right here. Okay, so they did the surgery and turned out it didn't really work. You know, you have to be in recovery for like a year. So I did therapy in that year, trying to get stronger. In the first 6 weeks, you cannot sit up straight. You cannot hold your hip in a 90-degree angle, basically. Can bend down, can drive. It was a lot. It wasn't the easiest time, I have to say that. But I was optimistic because I was like, okay, this is gonna, you know, help me get rid of that pain. And for the first few months I was positive because I was experiencing pain, but I was putting that off of, you know, I just had surgery, so of course I'm not going to be pain-free right away. But then I think I went back to the doctors at around month 7 or 8 because I still had the same level of pain, and they were like, you have to wait for a year before we can check it all out again, because that's the time that is like registered for you healing and, you know, getting your body to basically give your body a chance to heal on its own completely, or enough so that we can see, you know, if it's working or not. So I did that. I'm actually gonna get another color from this palette. I'm gonna go in with the purple. I'm gonna put that in the outer corner. So I did that. I wait until the year is over. Of course, I still do therapy and exercises and everything in hopes of making it better, but it wouldn't get better. After a year, I go back like, hello, it's still painful. I'm still in pain. Mind you, I switched jobs, so instead of having a very physical, hard job, basically, of me walking around standing 8+ hours on my feet, I now had a desk job. So I could sit, I could stand, I could just, you know, switch it around to kind of help myself, help the balance. And I didn't go straight from standing all day to sitting down all day, because that wouldn't be good either, or so they told me. So, you know, I radically changed everything. I stopped horse riding, which is heartbreaking because that was basically my life, being around horses and horse riding and teaching people to ride horses. And that just all stopped. I still have my horse, and I would go see him 3-4 times a week. I would just brush him, cuddle him, but I couldn't do more than that. I tried riding later on and it would still hurt. So where was I going with this? Oh yeah, I went back after the year was over and I was like, okay, look, it still hurts. So they went back to do new scans, you know, to check out what was going on. Actually, this was almost a year and a half after the surgery, because I tried to do a lot of exercises with my therapist to see, you know, if it was really not healing good or if I just had to get stronger. I went back to the doctors and said, you know, it still hurts. So they did a new scan. Just giving you a heads up. I don't know what I'm doing. I want to do orange, I think, next. So I'm gonna pick my kimchi palette and do the lightest orange. Let's do it with the same brush. Why not? So they did a new scan and they came back with the results. What they saw in the scan, what they told me was, okay, the cartilage that we had secured back, you know, that was damaged before, is completely damaged again. So the way I took it was that surgery had been for nothing, because 2 years later, almost 2 years later, we're back at square one. Your cartilage is damaged, you experience pain, still you haven't really had not experienced pain, you know what I mean? So I was pretty devastated, as you may be able to imagine. Because recovery from that surgery wasn't easy, and I mean, it honestly felt like I had done it for nothing, which sucked. I'm gonna get the orange from my Nabla Dreamy palette, the shimmer, and put it over where I put the orange matte. So I go back to the therapist and tell them, you know, this is what they've told me. The cartilage is damaged again. It's not damaged enough for them to be able to fix it, basically. They can do the surgery again, but they cannot guarantee that that's actually gonna help. And seeing as within 2 years of the last surgery, everything is already back to square one, being damaged. They also, I mean, they did not say we do not recommend it, but without words, they said we do not recommend it. It's quite useless. So you might be able to imagine that. That really sucked. And I actually felt like I was getting a chance to get a new hip, like a hip replacement, because the way they told me made it seem like it was very, very damaged. But the thing with that is, getting a hip replacement, they don't really do that quickly, especially not if you're young. I just turned 30, so that's very young for getting a hip replacement. So I decided to get a second opinion on my results and see if there was anything that could be done for me that would not be the same surgery that I've had before, with like slim chances of it actually helping me. I'm taking this Makeup Revolution Soft Radiance palette and getting the gold, which is in my Pan Has No Name project. I'm gonna put that in the very inner part of my lid to kind of brighten it up. Honestly, still don't know what I'm doing, but it's coming together. So okay, I went to get the second opinion, and they did some more scans, and long story short, they told me that actually there's not really a lot wrong with my hip and how it's formed. I'm at like the edge of, okay, it's not great, you know what I mean? It's not the perfect shape, but it's not that bad either. And also the damage, not that bad. So this doctor went on and was like, okay, I can give you a shot of these painkillers and whatever, and we're gonna see if that works. If that gives you less pain than you experience normally, we can almost certainly say that the problem is in your hip. And if it doesn't, we are gonna have to check out, you know, maybe it's in your back or somewhere else, because that's also the problem. Hip problems and back problems, they're very hard to identify where the pain is actually coming from, because as you can imagine, if you have pain in your back, you're gonna, you know, walk a different way to try and not experience as much pain, and it's gonna affect your hip. And the other way around, if you have a problem in your hip, like pain or immobility, or it's shaped a certain way, you're gonna just walk differently, and that can also affect or give you pain in your back, which is what I experienced too. So they've given me the injection. They were like, there's gonna be a whole lot of shit going on. It might help with the pain. That might help for like a few days, and it could take a few weeks to actually help with the pain. It could not help at all. We don't know. So it's basically just a gamble. But I was like, there's nothing else we can do, so just give me it. And we will see. So this is why I've been getting like these sweat breakouts out of nowhere. And that's basically the story. I don't know. I wish I had like a happy ending, but we're still in the process of figuring out what is actually wrong with me. On one hand, I was like, okay, good news that the problems in my hip aren't as bad as the first doctor has always claimed it was. But on the other hand, I was like, okay, but then why am I experiencing this much pain? Like, where does it come from? You know, if they had said, okay, the problems in your hip are bad, like really bad, then it would make so much more sense that I was experiencing pain still, even after that surgery. And it's just difficult. Honestly, I could cry, but I'm not gonna. But it's been shit. Instead of crying, I'm gonna put this glittery eyeshadow from Glam Shop in the middle of my lid. It's not gonna focus. It doesn't have a name on it because I depotted it from my Glam Shop Remix palette, but it's a stunning glittery eyeshadow. So how do I continue with this story? Honestly, maybe it's more of like a get to know me, because I've never really talked about honestly anything personal on my channel. But yeah, that is kind of what my life looks like right now. What it is most of the time, it's me thinking of, I want to do something fun, I want to experiencing life, but I know I'm gonna be in pain doing so. I also have new painkillers that I got earlier. I don't really feel like they're doing a lot, but like I just religiously take them every night just in case they might help. Who knows? Wow, I'm getting really washed out. I don't know, the weather is taking a turn for the worse. Looks like it's gonna rain. actually kind of fitting for this whole story. Sad, moody story, sad, moody weather. That is completely washing me out. But yeah, I think I'm gonna add eyeliner. Honestly, I don't think I need that. I feel like the purple needs a little bit more from the Juvia's Place Magic Mini palette. So this was a very sad and depressing sort of get to know me story. I didn't mean for it to turn out like that, but that's kind of how it is right now. We are awaiting what the injection is gonna do for my hip. I just kept calling it a shot. I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't know. The injection, that's maybe a better word for it. And until then, I'm gonna just try and be as happy as I can, experience as much fun things as I can, and try not to focus on the fact that I am undoubtedly gonna be in pain. It just sucks. You know, I have a festival planned for the next weekend, and I just know it's gonna be hard for me. It's just difficult. It's just difficult pain. It's always there in one kind of way, shape, or form. Sometimes it's worse than other times, but it's always there, basically. Very depressing. Okay. Well, this is the look so far. I'm gonna do mascara. I don't think I'm gonna do anything on my bottom line. No. And I also don't think I'm gonna do anything like liner or something. Yeah, no, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna do mascara. While I try to end this video on a positive note, I just don't know what to talk about anymore. You know, we are gonna do a barbecue, friends, but seeing this weather, I don't know if that's a good idea. So the hip story, okay, well, I don't really want you to feel like sorry for me or anything. It wasn't a story to be like, oh, can you believe how sad I am? Can you believe how hard my life is? But it is a big part of my life, unfortunately. So, and it's hard for people to understand that don't experience like chronic pain, because I've had a lot of people give me the advice, and they mean well, honestly. They give me the advice to just not think about it, get my mind off of it, you know. And honestly, I wish I could, but people who have experienced chronic pain or like severe pain for long periods of time, they know you cannot just not think about it or take your mind off of it, because it's very out there. It's a very big presence of your life, even though you don't want to, but it just is. So it's difficult, and I don't blame people, and I also don't blame people who are like, please don't talk about it again, because honestly, a lot of conversations, when people ask me how I'm doing, I don't know what to say anymore, because I don't really want to be that person who's like, yeah, I know, not great. But then again, I'm not going to be lying saying everything's great when it's obviously not, because that's how it is. I just brighten my inner corner with my Pamela palette shade, by the way. I don't know how to end this on a positive note. It is what it is. There is still hope that this injection is actually going to help. And then we find out that the problem is in my hip. There's not really a lot they can do if it is in my hip. I'm just going to have to basically learn to live with it. Because getting a new one, getting a replacement, they're not going to give that to me unless I'm like 60. And, you know, I'm not quite there yet. Trying to pick up the fallout glitter with a little tape. But maybe we realize that is actually not in my hip and it's coming from someplace else, and maybe there is better treatment for that. Who knows? I don't. In the meantime, try to be, you know, doing as much fun things as I can, even though it's gonna give me pain, but you know, everything at this moment is giving me pain. So sitting at home the entire day will give me pain. So it's just better if I go out there and do fun things and enjoy it as much as I can. I'm gonna put on a little bit of blush. Actually, I'm gonna use this Sweet Like a Peach palette, and I think I'm gonna do a mixture between this pink shimmer and that one. Do I have a clean brush? No, of course I don't. This is a very heavily used brush, so might come out a little darker because there's some color left, but okay. That is it. I actually realized that, you know, I don't really talk about myself a lot on this channel because it's mostly about makeup, which is fine, but I do enjoy just putting on makeup and talking to you guys. So if there's anything that you would like to know about me, please let me know, because I could do these types of videos in the future and just some chit chat if that's something that you'd like. I'm going to be using my rainbow highlighter because that's in a project. Let's just use the viewfinder of the mirror. Cute. So yeah, if you have any questions or anything, they don't have to be hip related. They could be. Don't, you know, don't feel bad asking about that. But also don't feel bad to ask about other things that might be a little bit more fun. I would love to chat with you guys and do maybe another video just doing my makeup and chatting. This is the look. We've done some pinks, yellows, orange on the lip, purple on the outer corner. I don't know how well you can see that, but I actually liked it. This feels very randomly just cut off. I don't know. Maybe it's because this is the first time filming a video like this, and then I'm also talking about this quite heavy topic that's, you know, there's not really an ending to it yet. And it's also not very fun, happy, lighthearted topic. I'm also gonna just quickly use my brow pencil because I have to, because that's in a project. I don't really do anything to my brows because I just don't know what to do. So I just lightly go over with this pencil. I can see it's sort of doing something, but not wow in your face, which is fine. Let me know if you have any questions. Yeah, I would probably then not respond to the question in the comment, but save them up for a video. Let's just brush this. Not that that does anything, but let's just do that. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I promise most of my update videos and such aren't as long as this one's gonna be. But you know, putting on makeup and chatting is just, it's a long process, and I like to talk. I just babble along. So yeah, I hopefully see you in one of my next videos. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.